Hi everyone, welcome back. We've got some new makeup to try today. So I have some things that I purchased from Sephora recently. I have a few things from Lisa Eldridge that I ordered as well. So I thought we could just sit down and try them all out today. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into the makeup. Okay, I just applied the Dior Forever Hydra Nude foundation. I don't have a brand new one to try, so I just put that on. But let's get into the new things from Sephora. The first product is the Caliray Hideaway Corrector, which is one of my favorite products, but they recently released some new shades. And I did order one of them. I love this product. It's probably my top color corrector right now in my collection. But this one is the shade Radiant. So this is a little bit lighter than the one I usually use, which is Cool Sunrise. This one's a little bit more pink, like a peachy pink, and it's a lot closer to my skin tone than Cool Sunrise is. So I'll go ahead and swatch the one that I typically use next to it. So this is Cool Sunrise, and this is the new shade in Radiant. I can definitely use Cool Sunrise. It's just I can't wear it alone. I have to pair it with concealer. Whereas with this new shade, I can actually get away with this one just on its own, which is really, really nice. So let's apply the new shade. I have used this once already, so this is not the first time I'm using it, but I wanted to show what the new one looks like because a few of you did comment on one of my more recent videos asking if I was gonna talk about the new shades of this one. So I'm gonna start with that. This formula is so nice if you want something really thin and hydrating under the eyes. This is such a good one. And I'm actually trying out a new brush for this today that I haven't used yet. This is the concealer brush from Jane Iredale. It's really tiny. It's one of their new brushes. They just kind of re-released, or they redid basically all their brushes. And this is one of the new ones. So you can see how well that one just blends into my under eyes, and I could definitely just wear it on its own. So I am loving this new shade. And I just love how thin and hydrating these are under the eyes. It's just such a good formula. I do actually have two newer concealers, and we'll just kind of talk about both. Maybe I'll apply a little bit of both, but I did cave and get the Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint Concealer. This is the shade 4. I have tried this once on my own. I didn't film or anything, and I'm very undecided about this. I feel like there's definitely a big learning curve with this product, and I don't know that it's gonna be for everyone. I do really like the shade. This is a nice neutral shade, which is right there. It's shade number 4. So the shade is good. I'm very happy with that. I'll try to apply a little bit of this. I purposely didn't really build up the foundation at all on my skin because I wanted my discoloration to peek through, so we could use a little bit of this. But when I used it the other day, first of all, I couldn't tell if it was kind of picking up the product I had underneath. I used just a skin tint the other day when I did this, and I felt like the more I did, I just wasn't really seeing much. I couldn't tell if it was really doing much, I guess. So I don't know. Let's do a little bit of this. This side, I don't have as much discoloration, but we'll just kind of start over here. I also couldn't really figure out if after I kind of scribbled it on, if I should take like my finger and kind of tap on it, but then like when I did that, that kind of seemed to wipe it away almost. So I don't know about this one. I was kind of wondering about that. That's one of the reasons why I didn't order it like right away when this first released, just because, I don't know, I didn't know how practical it was gonna be. So like I added a little bit there, but I can't even tell if that did anything. And it could just be that this is not, I'm not a great person for this product. You know, I may have too much discoloration for it. I don't know. But my first impression, I was just kind of like very, very uncertain. I just don't know, basically. Now we'll add a little bit over here. So I have more discoloration on this side. And I just don't know. Like I've seen her just kind of scribble it on. I will say I do agree that it looks very undetectable on the skin. Like you don't see it when you apply it. It doesn't look like you have a ton of concealer sitting on the skin. So I do agree with that. I just don't know about practicality and who is gonna have time to sit and do this, you know? Unless you were just using it on like one tiny little spot, like one little blemish or something, that obviously wouldn't take a ton of time. But if you have areas where you just have discoloration that peeks through, but you have it kind of in a lot of different places on your face, I just don't know how practical this is. So once I'm done doing this, you tell me what you think, if you think it did something. It's just one of those products that's really hard to tell. Let me know if you bought this. What are your thoughts on it? Do you like it? How do you use it? Do you kind of like tap it in after you use it? I can't figure out how I feel about it. I can appreciate the pinpoint method. I think, you know, that obviously is a very natural way of concealing someone's skin. So I can appreciate, you know, that she's done something a little bit different with these, but I just don't know how practical that's going to be for most people. I do think it works well this way. So like if you're someone like me, I think a lot of people have this issue, but if you have like a lot of discoloration on the side of your nose, something like this works really well for that because it's a pencil and it's so tiny, so you can really get in there with it. I could definitely see it being beneficial for something like that. There it is. So we've got a little bit over here, a little bit over here. You know, I think it did a little bit. I just don't know if it does enough to justify the price. And, you know, everyone's been talking about the amount of product you get in here. I just realized that the writing on mine, so it's supposed to say Lisa Eldridge right there. It's like already like rubbed off right there. I just got this, so this is brand new. It's like the lettering is already like fading. It's supposed to be gold and it's like barely even there. That kind of stinks because, I mean, this is not a cheap product. I don't know, guys. I'm gonna keep using it with other things. Maybe it would work better on bare skin, but in that case, I would have even more that I feel like I would want to cover. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep using it and I'll let you know, but I'm definitely undecided on that one. Now, I do have one more concealer. This is not a new product. I just wanted to have it in my collection again, so I just bought it from Sephora. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer, and this one is the shade 1CR. So I'm gonna take some of this under my eyes and then a little on my face as well. I used to own this a long time ago. Definitely not in this color, but I did own it at one point and I liked it. So I bought it again. Okay, I'm just gonna blend that in with this brush from Makeup by Mario. This is the F4. I'm just using the larger side. This is what I used for the foundation today. And then I'm gonna switch to my N14 under the eyes. Even though honestly I could get away with that Caliray shade on its own, but we'll go ahead and add some concealer on top. See, in terms of like adding coverage to the skin, it's just kind of like something like this is so much easier than using such a small crayon like that, or it's not really even a crayon, it's like a pencil, that I just don't know how realistic or practical that would be for me. All right, moving on. I'm probably the last person to try this, but we're gonna use it today. The new Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Contour. I know this is kind of old news at this point because I know pretty much everyone I feel like has reviewed it already, but I got the lightest shade, which is Gentle. I was kind of going back and forth. I was looking at this one and then the next one, which I think was Mellow, but Mellow looked very warm to me, like very, very warm, almost like a yellowy undertone. This one looked like it would be a little bit better for my skin tone. So this is the shade Gentle right here, and this looks really nice to me. It doesn't look overly cool toned. It definitely has a cooler tone than the next shade, but it still looks like it has a little bit of warmth to me, almost more neutral leaning. All right, I guess I'm gonna try applying it directly on the skin, but I'm just gonna start with one dot because these, if they are like the blushes, you do not need a lot of these at all. So let's just see here. I'm just using the other end of the Makeup by Mario F4. So that blended really, really quickly. Yeah, so that was just one dot, and honestly, I probably wouldn't personally want any more than that. So they definitely are pigmented. Maybe not quite as pigmented as the blushes, but they definitely have some pigment. They're very liquidy too. Like I feel like this formula might be a little bit more liquidy than the blushes. The blushes are a liquid formula as well, but I don't know. These feel almost a little bit more liquidy to me. I don't know. I do think on my skin tone, it pulls a little bit warmer. It doesn't look super cool tone to me now that I've like blended it out. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I probably would not apply more than this because they do have that liquidy formula. It would be really easy to kind of go crazy with this and then it gets everywhere. And you know, if that's not what you're going for, then that's just something to keep in mind. But I like it. I'm not like blown away by it, I don't think. It almost looks like a tad bit patchy to me, just a little bit. Not bad, but I don't know, something about the blend is not like super, super smooth to me. And it could be because this is a liquid. Honestly, these liquid contour formulas, especially something that's this thin and I want to say watery. It's not really watery, but it's just a very fluid formula. That kind of thing is a lot harder to apply, in my opinion, than like a cream bronzer or a cream contour. Like this is much more difficult to apply than like the Westman Atelier Face Trace Stick in Biscuit. Definitely glad I didn't go with that one shade up though, because I think that would have been way too warm. I don't think I would have liked that at all. Yeah, I like it okay. I'm not like, you gotta go out and buy this though. Okay, let's move into blushes now. We have quite a few blushes. I am not going to be able to apply everything, but I will show you what I have here. We are clearly in blush season because everyone is releasing blushes. The new Rare Beauty blushes, which they're not on Sephora anymore. They were there for like 24 hours. I did get a few of those, but I'm gonna save those for another video when they get closer to launching. Tower 28 is coming out with blushes. I also have those, but I'm gonna save those as well. But I also have a few other things. So I did cave and get the YSL blush. Now this one I have already tried because I just couldn't help myself. And spoiler already, I love this one. I'm so glad that I finally just bit the bullet and bought it. But I did get shade 44. I love the packaging. Of course, everyone's talking about the packaging, but I mean, it is so pretty. And then 44 is one of YSL's iconic shades. They make it in everything, really. The blushes, the lip products. It's just kind of one that they're well known for. So that is shade 44, and it's one of the satin formulas, but I love the shade and I love this. I've used this already. So we will probably use a little bit of that, but then I also have the new Ciele highlighter and one of the blushes. I have not tried these. I haven't tried the blush or the highlighter, and I'm kind of surprised because I love the Ciele skin tint. That's like my top skin tint right now. And I finally got one of the blushes. So this one is the shade Behati, and I'll swatch this for you. This is such a pretty color too. Just a perfect dusty rose kind of shade. So that is the shade Behati. Not quite as pink as 44 from YSL. This is almost more of like a rosier nude, but very, very pretty. And then I guess their most recent release were the highlighters. So these are the Glow and Protect highlighters. And I got, I think, the middle shade, which is Piper. So they're in like the same packaging as the blushes. But I was thinking I would mix Piper and the blush in Behati. This looks like such a pretty color too though. So I kind of swatched it on the side there, but that is Piper. It's kind of like a rose gold champagne highlight, but also looks really, really pretty. And then because that was not enough, I also got this, which this is, I swore up and down I was not going to buy this, but here I am. I bought it. The Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewy Flush. So not dewy blush, it's a dewy flush. And this one is the lighter shade, which is called Watermelon Flush. And I haven't even swatched this one, so I don't know. I haven't seen anyone apply this either. So this has a really chunky applicator. Ooh. This is a little bit more of like a corally pink than I was thinking. So this is the Watermelon Flush from Glow Recipe. Okay, so very, very sheer. So that like almost kind of wiped it away. Very strong with the watermelon scent. I really want to use the Ciele, and I want to mix it with the Piper, kind of mix them together on the side of my hand. I actually saw, this is probably like a week or so ago, I was on Instagram and I follow the founder of Ciele. Her name is Nikki DeRost, I think is her name. Anyway, I follow her on there, and she had posted something on her story of her using a product, and she didn't say what the product was, but she was applying it like when you would apply sunscreen at that step of your makeup, and it wasn't the Tint and Protect, because I would know that product if I saw her like holding the bottle. This was in like a tube and she was applying it. So I wonder, it looked clear. So I wonder if she is gonna come out with just like an SPF that's not a skin tint. Kind of seems that way. Okay, so there is Behati and Piper mixed together. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. I'm just using that same brush I used with the Rare Beauty contour to apply this. So there they are. Really pretty. Yeah, that's more of like a nude, a rosy nude, I would say. Really, really pretty though. Honestly, that highlighter I bet would be pretty mixed with anything liquid, like any of my liquid blushes. I'm gonna take the larger end of that Mario brush now and just kind of tap over it. I think I got a little bit more on this side than I did on the other side. All right, let's do some powder now. I did get the new Kosas powder. So this is the Cloud Set Loose Setting and Blurring Powder. And I am very curious to try this. I do have the pressed version of the pink powder from Kosas in the candy color. Is this one candy too? Yeah, translucent candy. So I'm curious how this will compare to that. It looks so large. How much product do you get in here? 0.705 ounces. I don't know, looks like a lot though. Let's test this out. Oh, it does have a sifter thing in it, which thank goodness. So you can at least close this off, which thank you Kosas for doing that, because I hate it when brands don't have that. Oh yeah, so it looks really pink. You know what this reminds me of actually is the One Size powder in pink. I forget what the name was, but I actually don't have that powder anymore. I ended up, oops, decluttering mine. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see without me spilling it everywhere, but it's very pink. But maybe it's one of those powders that looks pink, like really pink, and then when you apply it, it doesn't look that pink. Let's see. I think I'm gonna use a brush for this. I'm gonna use the 113 from BK Beauty. It's like the flat, kind of paddle looking brush. And let's just test this out. So I'm gonna kind of set the T-zone first. I guess we'll do this side by itself first and then see what we think. Okay, so that side has the powder. This side does not. Oh, I actually think that looks pretty good. It definitely mattified, but I wouldn't say it like totally eliminated shine there. It just kind of slightly smoothed and mattified a little bit, like right in this area. More so than the original Cloud Set in the pressed version, but that looks pretty nice actually, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I feel like it definitely doesn't look, sorry if I just made it blurry, I feel like it doesn't look that pink on. Does it? Is it just me? I feel like it doesn't. I'm not picking up any like major pink hue from it or anything. It's interesting that it looks so pink in the component, but then when you apply it, it doesn't really. Okay, just gonna set this side. I've really been liking this brush for setting lately, the 113. It's like this little paddle brush, but it makes it a little bit easier to really get in there and just press powder in. It's almost like a little powder puff, but just a brush. Okay, yeah, I really like that. I like that a lot. I feel like that mattified without doing too much and totally taking away like any life from my skin, but my skin does look much more set and smooth now, so I kind of like that one. But let's go back to this blush. I have to apply at least a little bit of this YSL blush just because I just have to. I really don't need any more blush, but I'm gonna take a little bit of this. And I'm using this, I think this brush is discontinued. It's like an old limited edition grepher brush. And I'm just gonna add a little tiny bit of this on top. Oh, I love this. Like I said, I couldn't help myself. I used this pretty much instantly when I got it. Yeah, that was probably way too much blush, but I really wanted to use it. They're very pigmented, I will say. Even the satin ones that aren't just the flat matte ones, they do have a lot of pigment to them. So just keep that in mind. But I love, love, love this. I'm just kind of tapping over it with my foundation brush quickly. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of blush going on, but you know, for the video, it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows quickly. I won't show that because that's boring and it's the same thing I've done in every video. And then I'll be back and I do have something fun for the eyes. Let's move into the eyes. I did pick this up. This is the Charlotte Tilbury palette of Beautifying Eye Trends in the color Super Neutral. Of course, I got the neutral one. I think there are 5 of these, maybe 6 of them, but of course I went with this one. I just couldn't help myself. I mean, these colors, I just love. I love it so much. So I will insert some swatches here for you if you are curious. Actually, I'll just go ahead and swatch them quickly on my hands. Now, I know there's a lot of people talking about the packaging on these, which, you know, is it Charlotte Tilbury typical packaging? No, it's definitely a step down big time from that. But one thing I will say is, yes, it's kind of annoying to have just this plastic cover. I do like that you can see through it though, I'm not gonna lie. It reminds me, or it's similar to the Dior Backstage palettes, which I have one of those. I've had a few of those over the years, and those are great palettes. They're in similar packaging to this. I think they're a little bit less expensive than this one though. I want to say the Dior ones are like $49 maybe, and these are $60 from Charlotte Tilbury, so definitely expensive. But I will say the formula on the shadows feels incredible. It is buttery, silky, smooth, and even the swatches are like swatching beautifully on my hand. Hopefully the formula is good and that will make the price maybe a little bit less painful, but we'll see. So here are the swatches. So you kind of got 2 that are more of like topper shades. This one, which is more of like a white looking topper, and then this is probably my favorite one right here. This one is like, it's kind of gold and silver in one. Very pretty. And then you got this, which is more of just like a creamy metallic up here, and then the rest of them are matte. I think the 2 browns are the taupier browns. Well, I guess there's 3 of them actually. These 2, well, I was gonna say they look kind of similar. I guess they don't. This one's more gray. This one's more of like a taupey brown. Then you've got like a blue gray, a charcoal gray, and then this is more of like a chocolatey brown. But I will say the swatches, all of them swatched beautifully. So I have high hopes for this formula. All right, let's go into this palette. So we're gonna start with the lightest matte, this light cream color. I did apply a little bit of Sigma eye primer on my eyes before or after I finish my brows. So I'm just gonna kind of put that everywhere on the lid and then up closer to the brow as well. I was happy to see a new release from Charlotte Tilbury just because I feel like they haven't released much in like the last year. And the stuff that they have has been very kind of mediocre, not really that exciting. So I feel like it was definitely time for them to come out with something. Okay, I'm gonna take the shade next to it, which is this lighter taupe right here. And I'm probably gonna dip in as well to the cream color, just in case that shade is really deep for my skin tone. I'm not really sure. So I kind of dipped into both of them. That's pretty. This is a 212 brush from BK Beauty. Very nice. I'm happy to see this is not a warm leaning neutral palette, because that's, I feel like what we see like 9 times out of 10 when a brand releases a neutral palette, it typically leans on the warm side. So I'm happy to see that. Did any of you pick these up? There's that really beautiful khaki one with all the greens in it that I'm kind of eyeing, but I Figured I'd start with this one and just see what I think of it first, but those greens do really, those call my name. I will say this is definitely an updated matte formula from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is not the matte formula that's in her quads that she's had forever. This is definitely a much creamier formula than that one. Okay, now I'm gonna take, I think a little bit of this brown. So this is like the warmest brown of the ones in here. And I'm switching to a Rephr 13 for this one. So that's a really pigmented milk chocolate brown. Going back to that 212 we used first and just blending that up into that crease color a little bit. These have a little bit of kick up in the pan, but it's not anything crazy. Definitely seen a lot more with other formulas. I really want to use this topper down here. This is the one that looks kind of silver and gold. Oh yeah. So I'm just tapping that on. I got like one little speck of fallout there using my finger, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna go in to the cream matte again with a different brush. This is a 202 brush. It's the more tapered blending brush from BK Beauty. And I'm just gonna kind of blend a little bit more because I want this to look a little bit softer, like in the outer corners. This is a good brush to do this with because it's tapered, so you can really use that tapered edge to diffuse any lines. I wasn't gonna do this, but I figure since we are using the palette for the first time, we will. I'm gonna take this deeper gray right here. It's like a charcoal gray. And I'm gonna use this little Jane Iredale brush. This is called the Smudge Eye Brush. It's really tiny little shadow brush here. And then it has a little smudger thing on the other end. But I am going to take that shade and just kind of go across the lash line with it. I'm gonna go across like half of the lash line. I'm not gonna go all the way in. This is a handy little brush to have, actually. That's pretty shade for a liner. If you didn't want to do black or brown, that gray is nice. Now I am gonna take a little bit of the cream and the taupe right here, and I'll apply those on the bottom lash line and just kind of mix them together. That is it for the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and do mascara and then I'll come back with the lip products. Okay, finally for the lips, I have a few different lip products. Oh, the one thing I forgot to show you, we didn't use it obviously because we used the Charlotte palette, but this is the Lisa Eldridge liquid eyeshadow, the liquid Lurex formula in the shade Emily. So I've tried her matte eyeshadow formula, but I haven't tried the metallic ones. So when I placed this order, I ordered this one to try. So that is the shade Emily. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. It's like a really nice neutral, but it's, I guess it's a cooler, well, it's a pretty neutral metallic. It's not super cool or super warm. Ooh, that's nice. So we'll use that in another video, but I did get that from Lisa Eldridge as well. And then, okay, for the lips, I also got a new shade of her lip liner. So I have the shade 1N from her, and I really like 1N, but I see a lot of her lip combos on Instagram using 0N. So I did pick this shade up to try, and it looks like it's going to be a really nice kind of neutral brown. So that is shade 0N. So we're going to use this for liner. Definitely a little bit more cool toned than 1N from her. I'm glad I ordered that because I think that'll go with a lot of different things. All right, and then I did also get one of her Rouge Experience lipsticks. I really wanted to try these when they came out. I just kind of held off because, you know, they're expensive. I don't always wear lipstick. I'm more of a gloss person, but I was just too curious about these. So these are heavy, so heavy. And I got the shade Lisa. I kind of went back and forth between Lisa and Simone, maybe is the other one. Lisa is really pink, so that's the only thing. I don't know if it will be too pink. But then I also have one more lipstick that maybe we'll apply both. We'll do this first. Very, very nice pink. I actually haven't tried the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks either, the classic ones, so I can't really compare this to them because I haven't tried them. That's nice though. These are not as hydrating feeling as I thought this is going to be. It definitely feels more of like a traditional matte formula. I do like the color though. The color is nice. The other thing I ordered, or I bought it from Sephora because I just couldn't help myself, is the Westman lipstick in the shade Petal. So I kind of mentioned in one of my last videos that this was on my mind, and finally I just caved and bought it. So this is the Lip Suede matte lipstick in Petal, which I've tried this formula before. I have Gireve and Piqué in these, but I really wanted Petal. So I'm gonna swatch this so you can see the difference here. So Petal is a little bit lighter, a little bit more of a peachy pink, and then Lisa is more of like a pink. Similar tones, but not identical. But I really want to see Petal on my lips as well. So I'm gonna remove this. Tried to take that off and reapply the lip liner. So there is Petal. I really like the Petal shade. That's so pretty. So pretty. Yeah, just a little bit lighter than the Lisa shade, but very nice. That's probably going to be my favorite one of this formula now. Like I said, I have Gireve and Piqué, but I like Gireve better. Gireve is probably more similar to Lisa in the Rouge lipstick. Piqué is a little bit cool toned for me typically. And then of course, one final thing, I do have one of the new Summer Fridays lip oils. These are the Dream Lip Oil, and this is the shade Bare Sand, which is just a light nude. I have actually never tried the Summer Fridays lip oils before. I've only tried the lip balms. It's very liquidy. Wow. This is not a thick lip oil. Very liquidy, so it would get... That's not my favorite formula. Sometimes I like something a little bit thicker because I think it stays better. Looks pretty on top of that lipstick though. That is everything for this video. Let's kind of go through my initial thoughts on the things that we used. First up, this is a win, but this is not really a new product, but I love this new shade from Caliray. I am so happy they released even more shades of these. If you're around my skin tone and you want something to kind of correct discoloration under the eyes, you're like a light medium skin tone, you have blue or purple under the eyes like me, this color in Radiant is really good. Honestly, I could probably mix the two. I'm just really happy to have another one of these in my collection because like I said, this is my favorite color corrector right now. So that is an absolute recommendation for sure. The Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint Concealer. Like I said earlier, I feel like this is one of those things that has a big learning curve, and I think I need to try it with a lot of other things first to really tell you what I think. But my first impression is I don't love it. I don't know. I think it's a little bit impractical for most people. You know, I don't think the formula is bad. Like I said earlier, it doesn't look heavy on the skin. It looks very nice and, you know, pretty undetectable when you're applying it, but it also just, I don't know if it does enough for me personally, but that's obviously going to be a very personal choice and, you know, what you have going on. For me, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be something I use a ton, to be honest. But, you know, you might really like it if you're looking for something really precise like this. Like I said, I appreciate her doing something that's very true to her and what she does. I love her pinpoint method. However, you know, depending on the person, someone that has a lot of imperfections that they're wanting to cover, something like this is going to be a lot harder than somebody that has like one little spot here and there. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I would say this is probably going to be a miss for me just because it doesn't work great for what I personally need and like, but I'm going to keep using it and I'll let you know. The Dior concealer, I just used a little bit of this kind of all over. I've used this in the past and I really like this concealer. It's a pretty, I would say medium buildable coverage. I don't know that you can get full coverage from this, but the coverage is very good. And I enjoyed it today. So I'm glad to have this again in my collection. The Rare Beauty Liquid Contour. Okay. This I like. Am I like blown away like you need to go out and buy this? No. It did blend really easily, but looking at it after I applied it, I do feel like it applied a little bit patchy. And I don't know if that was a me thing or if that was just the formula. I'm not sure. So I'll have to keep using it. I do think the liquid contours and blushes, I think, can be a little bit tricky. Of the two, I definitely prefer a cream formula. I just think they're easier to apply. But I don't think this is bad, but I'm not like blown away by it. I don't know this is going to be a new favorite for me. I think it's just okay. The blushes, honestly, of the things I tried, I love this so much, but I knew I did because I'd already used it. But I'm glad that I finally just went ahead and bought one of these, and I just love this color. I love the formula. I love the glow that it gives. Beautiful packaging. I love this so much. So this is a definite win for me. The Ciele blush and the highlighter, these are also very beautiful. Obviously, I mixed them today, so I want to try them both individually. But the highlighter definitely gave some definite glow to the skin that I really like. I think it looks really, really nice. So I'm excited to keep playing with these and trying them individually. I just really, really enjoyed the Ciele brand. So these I'm excited to keep playing around with. And then the Kosas powder, pleasantly surprised by this. I kind of thought this was going to be too pink. But actually on my skin, it really doesn't pull pink at all. And it set my T-zone really, really nicely without looking heavy and without taking all the glow from my skin. I think it just did a really nice job. Even under my eyes, I really like the way it looks. So this I'm kind of shocked by, but I'm pretty impressed with this just using it one time. And for the eyes, okay. Charlotte Tilbury palette. Is this expensive? $60 for this and this packaging? Yes, 100%. But I gotta say, this formula is actually really nice. This is a definite step up in quality for Charlotte Tilbury based on her past eyeshadow formulas. I mean, I didn't have any trouble with these. Very, very, very silky mattes in here. Very pigmented as well, so you know, if you were looking for like a soft buildable formula, I don't know that I would describe these that way. They do have quite a bit of pigment to them, but they're also pretty easy to blend out. The toppers are beautiful. This one that we used today, I absolutely love. This like wet gold silver. I really love it. It reminds me of the toppers in the Ethereal Eyes palette from Makeup by Mario. The mattes in here are definitely more pigmented than the Ethereal Eyes mattes from Makeup by Mario, but This is a really beautiful formula. And I mean, yeah, is the lid cheap? Yeah, 100% it is. For the price point, yes. But I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of like being able to see through it. Just me. That's a personal preference. But, you know, I am happy to say that the quality on the eyeshadows is good. And then, okay, the lip products. So the Lisa Eldridge lip liner in 0N. Love this color. Such a good, pretty neutral, medium toned brown. I think this will go with a lot of things, so I'm glad that I did order this shade. The shade 1N is nice too. It's just a little bit more pink, but this is nice. And paired with this Westman lipstick, I'm glad that I just finally went ahead and bought this because I just knew I wanted it. As soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it. And I love the color. I think it's so pretty. It's a beautiful, lighter, peachy pink, and I love it. I love it. And I will say, I love the lip oil on top. Like, I love the look of it. I love this lip combo, but this is like a very, very thin lip oil. So like, if you really applied a lot of it, I could see where this might smear all over your face, which is not my favorite. I honestly tend to prefer more of a thicker lip oil. So I don't know about that. And we'll see. I don't know anything about these really. This is my first time using it, but this is a really nice, just light nude, and it looks pretty with the lipstick. And then the Rouge Experience. I just had to have one of these. I had to try it. The curiosity, much like the Pinpoint concealer, just kind of got the best of me on this. Definitely a little bit pink for me, but I think I can work with it depending on what lip liner I pair it with, and a gloss maybe. But there's no denying this is one of the prettiest looking and just luxurious feeling lipsticks I've ever held for. So I am very happy to have one of these in my collection. All right, y'all, that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, playing with some new makeup. I really was in the mood for this today. Sometimes it just feels good to sit down and try some new things. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Everything that I used, I will link as always in the description box and in YouTube shopping as well. If you do shop through any of my links, I do make a commission that supports me and my channel. So thank you so much for that. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and make sure to follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you. Bye.